Okay, so we've been recording for the last 2 seconds. All right, so next we have something that's a little bit more complicated. So now we want to retrieve data. Okay, so what we do is we use database.ref. This is the location, right? This is our default URL. This is our base URL. Okay. From there we say on child added. So anytime a child is added, now child added, it's a little bit confusing because it not only shows you data every time a child is added, but the first time it's run, it will show you every single child that was added. So it actually goes through like a for each loop. And what it does is it then prints out every single child that exists inside database. Now you probably don't want to do this on database.ref if you have a lot of information. Most databases, this will run for like hours, right? Because the first time it runs, it's going to print out every single piece of information that exists inside your database on your root URL. Bad news bears, don't do that. Once this happens, you then run a callback function and say, okay, now child snapshot. So what we're doing is, okay, console.log child snapshot.val. That means it's going to get so the first time it runs, it gets every single child snapshot. So a child snapshot is every single child, and you're giving it the value so it converts it into an object form. So then you're getting all the information for each one. Okay? It's implicitly doing a for each loop. Okay? Does this make sense?
What does it say previous child on the right?
This, I don't even know why it's there. We've never used it. Yeah. So we haven't used this. You could use this at some point.
I just couldn't see what the line.
Oh, sorry. Previous child key. Yeah. I was curious about that too. They just kept that in there. Okay, so you then store everything into a variable. So from here, what you're doing is you're doing employee name, role, start, and rate. And again, it's going through every single one, right? So every time it hits a child snapshot, you can say, okay, store the name, role, start, rate. And you can just print that out to make sure you guys are getting the right values. Again, you're testing everything out, the console.log. Okay? So you're printing out the employee name, you're printing out the employee role, employee start, employee rate. When I do this .name, it's just as if this, because this is an object at that location, right? So if each one of these is an employee that remember, we created this object and we inserted it inside of the database. Now we're retrieving it, okay? So when we retrieve it, then we can just do, okay, so the object, and then we can say .name, which is a key, .role, it's a key, .start, it's a key, .rate is a key, okay? Yes?
How would you do this if you have an object inside of the main database object, right? You have the main database object that could contain these, but what if you want to have a user's object that contains the user? So what would you modify?
It would be the same thing, except that instead of database.ref, it would be users ref. So what you could do is you could save. So let me do it up here. You could actually save. You could do, yeah. So you could say var player. Let's say you have players ref equals database dot. Let me see. Do they have it in here? I have it in mine. I have a good example. Hold on. I'm trying to create a game to help you guys understand this stuff, and also because it's fun. Let me see. Here's my logic. Here we go. So what I did was I stored Firebase.database into DB, and then up here I created all the refs that I would possibly need. Now these are all the different paths, right? Which store all the different things. So what ARPANET asked was, well, let's say you wanted to call it on something else that was like, a subpath, something that exists within the main root. So under profiles. So what I can do is I can actually save that database.ref profiles under another variable. So if I had this.
So you could have multiple objects in the profile path.
Yep.
But you can't take it out the same way. You can't pull it out the same way. You can't like reference all the paths and pull it out the same way you can like direct to it.
Well, you can actually, you can do this weird thing. It's like, okay, so you can actually just call it like this. Profiles dot ref. Well, actually, no, not profiles dot ref. Sorry. It's like dot ref, yeah, and then like that. And I think that's right.
Can it be profiled though?
Profiles? No, I think that's right.
Oh, but then what if it's nested one more?
Then you can even go further. So
You don't have to keep profiles. You can get rid of that and put in like what's nested from profiles.
yeah. So you can put the whole path.
Okay, wait. You put the whole path, or you just put the last part of the path?
I think you can put like the whole path. So let's say like if you're at this root path, from here you can put profiles slash something else, users slash user ID slash something else. And you can even dynamically, using string interpolation, find different aspects of it based on a key. Because this is a key, right? So you can do that too.
Instead of dots, you use it like a slash or in case it's missing a dot.
Yeah. So it's pretty cool.
Okay, but Omar, that
Yeah.
specified based on child added, that's only going to trigger when you add a child to that particular path.
Exactly. So like Dave was mentioning, this will only trigger when I add something to this specific path.
So if I add it to something else, then that doesn't get triggered, nothing happens.
Right, exactly. So if you do it to another path, like if you did it to like, I don't know, profile slash users, then it wouldn't be a child of that, right? Yeah.
Setting that path is as simple as setting the variable up there.
You could do the variable or you can do it directly. I would set the variable and then just use this because this is a lot easier to read. I can just do right?
So you don't need the database dot profiles on.
No, because that's already saved in here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So essentially it's almost like saving a string. It's like I'm just saving that in here and just using a variable. Yeah.
How could you limit the read and write settings
Mhm.
to just certain elements inside of your database object?
So the question is, how do you limit the read and write settings to just certain elements within your
Client.
from clients? So that's going to be something that you have to go through the documentation. I'm sorry. Like the rules, I don't want to cover. That's just going to be huge, and that just requires a lot of reading. And then I don't think that's something that most people are going to be interested in anyway. Yeah.
So you only use the child when you use push instead of set.
So the question is, when you use the child added, is it only when you use push instead of set? So child added is used whenever you want to get data back only from a specific path. So if you only want to get data back from a specific path, rather than a change on the entire URL, like let's say that if you did on value, then what happens is anytime any value changes in any one of these places, you're going to get back everything from that point. It's going to keep repeating and getting back the data. So it's going to be really slow, right? But sometimes you want that. You want to get all the changes back. Like when you're creating a game, if someone's hit points go down, you want to update that, right? Not just when children are added. So it depends on the circumstances, right? So if I'm creating a game and if I'm at players and if I'm doing on value, I probably want on value because let's say the player's hit points go down, their attack decreases, some other things are dynamic inside each one of these keys, then I have to update that information. But in most cases, you're probably going to be using like child added because you don't want to get all the information back every time. Especially in the case of something as simple as like, train times. Anytime something is implemented. However, if you wanted a real train tracking system, again, depends on what you want, right? Then you'd have it on value. That way, it would change every time the minute changes. The whole thing would get updated.
So the value takes in everything while the child added only takes in the last data that got pushed out.
Yeah. The last child that got added specifically. Because there's also, remember, this onListener is from jQuery. So this value is actually just an event, right? These are specific to Firebase. But there's also child removed, child updated, child added. There's like another one too. Yeah, there's 4 of them. I forgot what the last one is.
Also, so it's not, if one child event changes, this doesn't.
No, this is only child added, yeah.
That's what I thought it was.
Yeah.
Oh, there's like a child moved.
Yeah. There's 4 of them. There's child removed, there's child updated, there's child something else, child struck with a stick. I don't know. Yeah, there's child being a jerk.
Child added.
But you said on initial run,
There you go.
it'll download all of it.
Yeah. Yeah. So again, now this data snapshot is really important to understand because this basically is just the information at the time that it was requested. That's why it's called a snapshot. It's like taking a picture of it as soon as you looked at it, right? As soon as this was updated. Now the val converts it into an object that's then parsable, that you can then access and do things with. Okay. From here, we do that. We have all the information.
What is the second argument of the function?
So this is what Jeff was asking. You were asking, remember?
Doesn't need to be there.
It doesn't need to be here. It's just something that,
So if you take it out, it will run.
Yeah. I could just take that out right now. But that occurs across any JavaScript. If you take out any number of arguments, or sorry, in this case the parameters, you can take out as many parameters as you want, and you just run it with how many ever you want to send in. And it'll be fine. Yeah, it's completely opposite of like other strictly typed languages like Java. If you do this with Java or C, it would be like fuck you, don't you dare do that, right? It's gonna be like run to errors, invalid number of arguments. With JavaScript, if you pass it like an infinite number of arguments, it'll still run. So
The arguments don't get used for anything.
yeah, they'll just not be used.
Do they do that because in other languages it actually matters?
In other languages, they matter, and I'm not sure why JavaScript decided to go with this way. Yeah, I guess so. Actually, I haven't researched why they do this. In every other language I've used, it's been like very strict about that. So, something I should research, but I won't. Because it'd make me sad. All right, so then we have prettify the employee start. So we use this Moment.js library. So Moment.js, again, this is a library that they decided to use. So it's converting it to Unix format and then formatting that into month, day, year. And then you're storing that into start pretty. So it's employer. And then from here, you calculate the moment's work. So this is where you do the calculations. So remember, instead of storing it in the database, you're just doing these calculations. So if you look at it, these are all just very basic arithmetic. Like sum multiplication over here, employees billed equals employee months times employee rate. Employee months is equal to difference between the current time. So this is the current time, right? Moment. And when you start it. That's it. So that's it for this app. This actually doesn't have anything to do with Firebase. This is just the application itself. But that's the gist of it for most of what you guys are going to use in Firebase. If you guys are going to do presents, not presents like Santa Claus, like I'm here, I'm present. And gifts, yes, not gifts. Let me see, where is that? Intro to presents. So now I'm going to do a little bit more advanced stuff. Okay, bye. Okay. That's it. All right. So according to this, there's 32,615 people are watching Click. I'll let them know. So I guess that's how many people have like logged into this. So my own version had a link to my database. This one is linked to the one that was given to me by default, so a lot of people have sessions open. Now this is run by something called info/connected, which is default inside of Firebase. Now what this is doing is it's helping you detect presence. Presence just means, is someone connected or are they not connected? So it's really cool because what you can do is you can say, hey, here's this connected ref, which is check to see if there's any changes at this point. This stores everyone who's connected and not connected. So if there is a value in here, that means, you know, there is something inside of here, then push true to this list. Now, if someone disconnects, then remove them. So these are listeners, right? This one's a listener. It says, okay, if someone disconnects, remove the user from the connection list. And all it does is then tracks who this connection is. So if you've pushed true to this connections ref, so this connections ref is another place inside of connections, right? So we stored the users that are connected here inside connections. But we didn't store the, you know, like anything else. We just said push. So it's storing the exact hash value, right? It gives us an ID to work with. So that ID is then stored inside connection. Now, if connection is on disconnect, so it detects, okay, on disconnect, then remove it. So it does a whole bunch of stuff for you in the background. It's actually really cool. So if I were to log in, which I don't actually have to log in, I just have to connect to something.
Will I go back to that second?
Yeah.
So I go to the site,
Mhm.
it associates a connection with me.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm now the connected rep, right? Well,
Which part are you at? So over here, you're now,
we have
you're
connections.
inside here. Yeah, so you're inside here.
Yeah, so we have connections, which are all connections.
Yeah.
Then we have connected, which would be each individual connection,
Yeah.
right? So then on value change, basically,
Let me actually open up this application on my database because I want to show it live, and that's going to help explain some stuff. Okay. So I'm going to go here, add this app. Replace it with that. Save it. And now if I go to database, intro presence. Okay. And if I refresh this, and look at that. I have one person in there, right? It has this unique identifier. And the value of that identifier is true because we set it to true. We just said, okay, push true. Now, if I open up another tab with this, it says 2 people. And if I go here, it shows true. Now watch what happens when I close one of these tabs. Turns red and deletes. Now that's what the on disconnect does. It looks for, hey, is that same user going to disconnect? So it attaches an event listener on it. Okay? And what it's doing is now every time the value changes inside, now this is going to be checked. Okay, well, has it been disconnected? Okay, it has. All right. Bye-bye. So it removes it. Yeah.
That's not info flash connected, it's the automatic unique hash that's always generated on connected, right?
The info/connected already exists. This unique identifier is created anytime you use push. Yeah, push, anytime you use it, Whatever you push, it will always have a unique identifier for it.
And you can get it by referencing that one thing you did up there.
Yeah. So we could do this, or you can do dot key.
Oh, slash connection. Oh, no, wait.
So if you went to, I went to connections ref, right? And I pushed this value. Now when I pushed it, I saved that value that I pushed into con. Now con, so let's see what's saved in con. Con. Sol. Dot log. There's like 2 people who are getting these references.
I'm Corinthian. You know what that actually means?
No.
It means fake leather.
Yeah.
That's actually what it means.
That's what Rising is like.
So we actually get this console.log object of object back, right? That's because we saved this connections.ref into here. And so if we look into that, we can actually see all this crap about it. And it looks all weird. So let's do, can I do .val? Does that work? I'm not sure if that worked. Let me see. No, I can't call val. So it's just an object. But you can see that we've saved it inside. So I console.log that to make sure that I got that object. And then it checks on that object. Hey, has it been disconnected? If so, then remove it.
So this can, I mean, which is a lot of details in the back end. Basically, anytime a browser hits this, it's going to create a connection.
So it's a session based, right?
Essentially, it's session-based because it's, well, it's not really session-based because it's storing it on the database.
Yes, but it
Right, but if you
logs every
refresh the
instance
browser,
of
I think it
opening
breaks
the browser.
Right.
Oh, every instance of
But like
opening-
pure session-based, it's like hybrid of like session and hybrid of database. Because a session is just like on your local, right? So it's like based on a session and then stores that session inside of the database. And then if that session state changes, then that gets updated into a database as well.
How would you log browser based, like global browser based? So you can open 5, you're still logged in as one.
Then you use authentication. Yeah. Yeah, if you so the question was like how do you detect, a unique user? You can actually do it on this connections as well. Like you can say like, I guess no, you still have to use authentication. Yeah. Cuz you want to detect like, if that user is authenticated, you don't want it to be based on connections at that point. You want it to be based on that user. And when you authenticate a user, you get a user ID. So that's why you need authentication in order to track users and not like something like local storage. Yeah.
If you refresh the page, and that flash connection will get regenerated.
Oh, it should, yeah. So
It'll be a different ID.
let's see. It should. Yep. If I do it again, it should still do that. Yep. Okay, so let's see. Is there anything more? Oh yeah, there's also a number of children that you can use. Num children will just count the number of children inside a snapshot. So that's fairly important if you want to count how many people are in there. Other than that, I think we've covered everything that's necessary. Yeah, all these are just repeating.
What about like toggling, like states?
That's in jQuery.
But there's like a thing that, like you have a player state,
Mhm.
that I saw changing in Firebase.
Oh, are you saying like if a player is present? Oh, a turn-based, yeah. So turn-based is going to be based on logic that you build in JavaScript, though. So you can do like a current turn ref, meaning that that's going to be like a current. That's going to be like a location ref. Yeah, so let's say you do a ref, right? So when I return to a ref, it's like a reference to a URL, to a path, and from there I can use like whose current turn is it? Is it this guy, and then or this girl, and then she has this attribute, and then is it his turn or something like that? And you can actually just use it to just hold one value, and can be like the user ID of the person.
So if it's null or if it's not true.
Yeah, or if it's like or if it's like a certain person's user ID. It's like just store just one person in here. Whose turn is it? I just look in there. Boom.
Yes or no.
Yeah. Is it player 1 or player 2 or player 3, player 4?
Well, but if it's a two-person, then you're saying basically just do, is it this person or is it?
Or is it not this person? Yeah, you can do that too. Yeah.
I think you can base it on the user ID, you can base it on the connection number, you can like choose what to base it on, right?
Yeah. So, I mean, the rest of it is just documentation. Honestly, there's not that much documentation. It's pretty new as a technology. And if you can actually read through the docs in like half a day. It's a little bit difficult to understand, but most of what I covered is what you need. I think everything that I covered is what you need for doing this project, the timesheet and for the other one. The chat application is going to be something that you guys need to figure out, but that's also, what we already covered too.
They also have like snippets on the Firebase.
Yeah, so use that. Be lazy. If they already have like pre-built everything with the code, just make sure that you guys understand how it works.
Yeah, I went back and like took stuff out and then changed stuff around to see why.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, right. So that works. That helps you understand like how these things work. That I do the same thing. The way I understand things is I'll just build something I enjoy. So I'm making it like a stupid game called Kill the Princess. I'm like, I'm gonna do it. All right. You guys have no idea what it's about, but it's actually an interesting concept for me. And then I just open source that code, and then I'll let you guys look at it. So if you guys want to learn something, just build something fun with it. And that's what we have you guys do. We have you guys like build like homework assignments. Make it as unique as possible, because that'll make you like more invested in like making it amazing. Make code great again.
Yes, you went there.
That's too easy. That's too easy. All right. You guys have any other questions? jQuery, JavaScript, Firebase. Tim, Stephanie, you guys okay? Wait, what?
I was saying like I should review over here. Make sure that
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. So make sure you two work on that, because you missed like one day, and then you missed like missed a lot. So you may catch up. Yeah.
So if you're how or just steer me how I interact with the game is you've got two different screens where you've got player 1 and player 2 here. How do you show like player 2 with player 1 with player 1?
How do you show?
And how do you have that information show up on the other players?
Oh, I see. Like how do you show that people?
How do you like selectively put up like when the guess is happening, you don't want player 2 to see what player 1 guessed, but you just want player 2 to see that player 1 is there.
I see. Okay, so that has to do with like the logic again. So that's going to be something that you're going to have to do with Dom. If it's player 1 turn, then like player 1 is going to be this connection, and they're going to be able to do these kind of things. So that's going to be where you like have to look at the presence stuff, and you have to kind of identify like, okay, how are these players going to be identified? I mean, it's going to automatically be pushed up in terms of your like I told you last time. You're trying to identify individual users that you can't do without using authentication.
I think we should, how would I, so I've got two screens.
Yeah.
How do I, so we're on the
Yeah.
how do I update the UI on this one?
Without that screen? Oh, so you don't want both ones to be updated at the same time?
Well, like, I think,
Yeah. So that means that individual user has to be identified as that user.
Okay,
So,
how do you, basically don't do that, like that shows on my big screen. But, like, that doesn't show up.
the users joining, you can say like there has been a player 1, 2, there has been a player 2. But because we're not using authentication, yeah, so what you can do is like, let's say that you, I don't want to give too much away, but like, let's say that you push something to something, and it shows, hey, now there's this many players. The first time it runs, there's only one player. The second time it runs, the second player's there. And you max that out, and you say no more players are allowed. Now, okay, now player 1 does something, right? They do rock, paper, scissors. They choose. You can then output that information into the screen, right? So you just do dot .out, and then output that in HTML. Right, so what you have to do is think about how you want to differentiate these two, right? You have to have it on the same HTML. Yes, you could separate it out. Okay, let me see what I can give away and what I can't give away. Because this is like the hard part, right? Oh, that's a good question. That's a good question.
Just for work, because I have APIs I pulled out, but they're like an XML. So I'm wondering if there's a way to convert that.
I'm sure there is.
Well, I
Yeah.
know people have stuff written out there.
Yeah.
But like, is there an easy way to like jQuery or something that'll just like convert?
I wonder if there's a jQuery function built in. Let me get to that after I answer Elisa and Jeff's question about this. So. So I found out that hype at Long Beach, at Pier, is constantly. I know. I told you. Can we have why like? Do you know how we can schedule one-on-ones? Oh yeah. And then we'll do it over there. That's a really good idea. Kill two birds with one stone. Yeah. And I'll just like have a bunch of questions ready too. That's a really good idea. Yeah, let's do that. That'll be fun for me too. Yeah. Thanks, man.
Alright, I'll message you everything.
Okay.
I'll like set up the time and everything.
Okay. Sounds good. Thanks, Tim. You too.
Show HTML, so it's all based on one.
Right, there's two sides. You just have to build it, right? You have to send the request from somebody. Right. Well, I don't know. I mean, it seems like this page is right. Except with the divs, I mean, I can continue to work on this.
So I haven't started the homework yet, but
Mhm.
I have an idea. The multiplayer one doesn't seem that hard.
Mhm.
But I'm just wondering if I have enough time. So I want to finish it by tomorrow.
Cause like I wanna start on a project. So
You
I'm
can
like-
try.
so I'm thinking I'll just maybe doing the easier one, just so I could start the project earlier.
Yeah.
But I do wanna do that one, but I'm just like, man, I don't wanna kill my time. If it's gonna take a long time, I'm like, oh man. I don't
Just
wanna-
try it out. Like, okay, like spend
doesn't
like
seem
all day
bad.
tomorrow or something, and then if you can't, then just be like, fuck it. All right, I'm just gonna do the easier one, and that's it.
Cause it doesn't seem bad at all. I mean, I don't, even without that session thing, I was gonna keep track of the sessions, but, you know, like if there's one user and another user comes in, search for this, if this tag is not set, or
Right.
session being set, add them to that group that set that tag to complete.
Mhm.
Then if another guy comes in, you search to see if there's a single user that's
Mhm.
not set, if it's not, create a new one, you know, and then just kind of just keep track of it like session like that, right?
There's a lot of different
I mean,
ways you can do it.
this way, yeah, that was kind of cool actually too.
You can do a lot of different ways.
Yeah, that's what I was kind of like. I was gonna do that just to keep track of it, and then the chat one would be pretty easy. You just
Yeah.
you know, just on child ad or whatever, or the one you were going through on child, you just kind of just print it out.
Right.
On both sides, right, with the user's name and what you call it. The only thing is when you print it out to the screen, can you print it out to a text box so that you have the so that you have the scroll function?
Oh yeah. You can do that, and then
Text
yeah,
box, right?
yeah.
That way it'll
Yeah.
scroll.
And then just do like that. That's just like CSS, right? It's like overflow automatic,
Yeah. So
and then just let that. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. That's what I was thinking about that. Just print a text box.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it, right?
Yeah.
It's not really.
I mean, like that's what I'm trying to like not give away too much.
I already kind of thought of that already before
Right.
we gave this away. I already kind of knew. That was,
But like
that was my
Elise
logic.
and Jeff right now are asking me a question. I'm like trying to research like what I can give them. No, I mean it's fine. But wait. This is the code. I'm looking to the code for the answer.
I'll just stand here.
Okay.
Okay, see what, the thing is I have it set up, the people set up separately. I have a way to compare them to make sure they're there.
Mm.
I have it so if a third person tries to join the game, it doesn't happen. What the problem is like it will recognize that I have two players after it goes through a cycle. I still don't know how the fuck to figure that out, but
And you're able to say like who's the player number and who's the player.
only on the screen of the actual player. Like this will show me Bob's player 2. When I had this as Sam as player 1, it showed me Sam was player 1 waiting for an opponent. This player 2 joined obviously after player 1. It says Bob's player 2, but it won't update the player 1 thing.
So have you thought about looking at the number of connections as like points and saying like, okay,
Yeah, I have that and I took it out because I figured the 2-player thing should take over that, but okay, I'll look at putting that back in.
think about it. Just think about it.
Well, I know that's an informed question. I will
You know,
definitely
like
think about that.
I'm just saying,
Just,
there
you
might be
it might behoove you
to just.
put the connections.
I'm
back
just saying that there might be something in there.
in. Okay, but and then okay.
I mean, the way they did it is pretty hacky because, again, like if you're not using authentication, then you don't have access to like a user data and all that stuff. So it's like you're kind of like going around really storing players.
I think that it's because it's such a simple thing with one round that you can get away with kind of not fully doing it.
Yeah, it's like one of those HTML Flash games. It's not really like meant for like keeping track of things and all that stuff.
So put connections back in and look at using them as an identifier.
Mm-hmm.
It's literally
Awesome.
that's effectively.
I was surprised I got this.
I don't know, that's good. I mean, this is even mandatory. Like, you guys are doing the harder one when Ahmed told me, like, make sure you recommend the easier one this time. Because the harder one is harder.
Yeah, but I'm not that person.
Okay, hey, you do you.
I would rather fail trying to do the harder thing than like.
Because you learn so much more, right? You learn so much more. Like, that's the thing. Like, you guys are asking such good questions that you guys are thinking about this, like, and learning about Firebase. Then you research, and you're like, even if you fail, you're like, holy crap, I just learned how to use all this crap.
Or
Yeah.
go back to Thomas Edison, right?
Yeah. Right?
I think I'm up to like 1,500 ways not to program something.
Yeah, but just think about if you guys. Okay, I'll give this away. Okay, so think about if you guys have this connections ref,
Right.
and you store the users using push,
Right.
then you could say, hey, number 1 in here or number 2. So player number 1 is the first connection in there. Player number 2 is like the
Right.
second connection.
Right.
And then
so can
connection, this connection gets to see this.
Yeah.
This connection gets to see this.
You could do that.
That's the only way you can do it.
Yeah, you have to keep
Because
track
if
of
you
the
refresh the webpage and there's only one connection, for
Except in the
example,
video, they don't
everybody
do
sees the
that.
same thing.
Well, right. Yeah. If you refresh it, then yeah.
So I'm just saying, like, without having a separate connection,
Yeah.
like, because if, in essence, you have to have two web pages, right? Which is handled through connections.
Mhm.
Because if I update my page, I don't want his to update.
Well, if you update your page, you should. I mean, both of you guys are still gonna update.
No, but what he's saying is
No,
like,
no, no.
say,
Like,
say
if I
he
make-
makes a
if
change.
I make, say, pick rock,
Yeah.
right?
But you don't want him to see that rock,
It doesn't
right?
show up on.
Oh,
his
that's what you mean. Okay. Sorry, I thought you meant like you didn't want it like the player to win and see
page.
the win. I was like,
It's like, so I pick something, he's not allowed to see it
yeah.
until he picks,
Okay,
or
yeah.
vice versa.
Yeah, well, that's just gonna be in the background. You can just keep that hidden. Like you can just say like, okay, player 1 has chosen his pick. Player 2 has chosen their
Okay,
pick.
but okay.
You don't even have to. You don't even have to see like what they chose. The logic just stays in the background and just says, okay, rock beats scissors.
Oh.
You don't even have to like display that.
In the video though, it shows that player 1, like, Yvonne picked rock, and you're waiting for player 2. Like, so on his
Oh, so they
page,
want it in a different way.
his page shows that he's picked
I would have
rock.
done it in the background. Okay, so then if you wanted to show, then yeah, then you'd have to have it separately. Okay, sorry, I didn't even take a look at the video. I'm just going off my own logic on how I would build it.
Well, that makes more sense to me.
Yeah.
This
Okay.
is- and then like all the freaking different colors for everybody. It's like, Jesus Christ, we only
Yeah,
have
it's,
eight.
it's like highlights
Yeah.
that says, well, yeah, that would be easy, but it really comes down to like who sees what.
Oh, okay. So that's why you guys are asking. Sorry about that.
That's good.
Okay,
I
okay.
pick rock.
Okay. So then it's just gonna be on your.
Rock shows up on my screen.
Yeah.
Does not show up on his screen. Then it says, okay, it's your turn. Now pick something. You pick something, then it, you know,
And then in
turns
the
to.
middle, it says so-and-so won.
Then we both see the result.
Wait, to be able to only display it on one screen though, that's kind of weird.
Yeah.
It's got to be.
That's
in,
what I thought.
It's got to be in the connection somehow or something.
Well, you have to keep track
Each
of
connection
But
basically
their,
has to have
their
its,
Firebase stuff that's
Yeah.
like stored is very, very simple though. I mean, there
Right.
isn't
but each connection effectively has to be its own.
thing, its
Its
own
own,
complete
its own
entity.
page.
Yes.
That would show different things.
Well, I think maybe the HTML, like, I can't do right now I have like one div that gets replaced to show, oh, so-and-so just joined the game. Maybe it needs to be 2 in the same
But
area.
even that, right? So you type in your name, it says Haley's, and the input box goes away. Somebody else goes to the site, the input box is there.
But maybe doing two things like, just because player 1 has done that and their input box leaves, player 2's input box can't leave yet until
Right,
So
but that's what I mean.
this
It's
is
gotta be.
true
So you
until
have to,
it's.
you have
It's
to
gotta be
actually,
connection.
for each session, you have to keep a HTML based, or
Yeah,
a database object based on the session, and then that session will be unique to each session, so you can have a different, outcome of the session, right? So I'm just wondering, I'll put 2 different things.
But some of
How
the
would you
information
do that?
is
How would
here.
you say, okay?
But over here, I mean, what I'm looking at, it's not doing that.
Oh, it wasn't? I thought it
Yeah.
was.
I thought it was.
Well, I can't show you guys.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
I thought you were looking at the video.
No, I'm looking at the code. I'm like, the code doesn't show that.
Okay, here, I
I was-
have.
I was-
Hey, Jeff's like, yeah, well, let me just for science. Yeah.
Oh, let me hear that.
Can you slack us what's on this?
Oh, yeah, sure.
It shows Rob on his page,
But there's
Yeah.
nothing.
nothing over here. And he still has his,
Then he chooses it.
and then that's what happens. So it starts.
Oh, okay.
But even from the beginning, like if you go back to the beginning, where so there's no users yet, right?
Okay.
So then the user gets input here.
Mhm.
That goes away.
Mhm.
So it's now we're waiting for another
And
user.
we have, hi,
right?
you're
So
player
we've,
1,
we've got 2 different renderings of the screen, right?
and then waiting for player 2 shows up.
So I guess really the question is how do we render 2 different things on 2 different screens?
Okay, so then let me find that out real
Yeah,
quick.
that's a-
Because the code that I'm seeing actually doesn't show that.
That's what he did, that's all I was like.
Yeah, exactly. And then this is all very freaking simple.
Hmm.
It has a turn thing.
Unless you create 2 separate types of HTML outputs and link it to their ID set.
That's what I was talking about, putting it in the same, 2
Yeah.
different outputs in the same div, or, 2 divs in the same box. And then you go, player 1 goes to this box,
Right.
this div in this box, and then
Right.
player 2 goes to this div in this box.
Which would have to be done dynamically.
Yeah, that'd be.
So you'd have player 1 div, player 2 div, player one logs in, the key gets assigned to it. Player two logs in, the key gets assigned to it.
Yeah. But how do you still, like, when you're outputting it, like, all the examples we've used is still the same page, right? So,
Yeah, everybody
Just
sees
one
the same
page.
thing.
like, how would you do this so the other guy can't see it? Yeah, that's kind of good question.
Like, for example, if you only have, so if nobody's, like, you wouldn't want to have like two visible divs, right?
Yeah,
So it's really the first player who enters is player one, right?
Well, okay, here's what,
So then you say, okay, I've got a new player, I've got
Yeah. So then, yeah, you just be dynamically generating HTML at that point.
Yeah, but if you dynamically generate it, like usually when you're generating it, both players are going to see it.
Right.
So you
Yeah.
need to be able to split it and say this guy can see this guy can see
but I,
this.
see, that's the thing is I have,
So it seems, I mean, it seems like you could do
Now.
that by connections.
Mm-hmm.
This connection sees this connection
Oh, so you
sees
can
this.
specify
Okay.
the jQuery.
Yeah. So I'm trying to find that out if they did that though.
You can do that, that'd be great. You can
Well,
specify the HTML
alright,
connection.
if I put in this.
Let me actually make sure that this is working.
His code don't work.
I get his information, Bob exists now, he's player one, waiting for a challenger, if I put
I
Sam
did see
in
that.
here,
The only thing we put in the nearby, but we didn't put in the search.
Sam's now player two,
Oh, that's interesting.
and his stuff shows up here, that shows up here, that shows up here, it's showing up separately, this is the same
Oh, it is.
information place. But
How'd you show it up?
Oh, wait. I think maybe I'm thinking about this wrong, because if you open up two different, so if you're opening up two different instances of it, each instance operates on its own, correct?
Oh, yeah, it prints out based on that user.
Right.
Yeah. I see what you mean.
But then this,
Like in her example, on the first one, she entered her name.
Yeah,
The name didn't show up on this screen.
this,
It did, because.
It's a different instance of the object.
but if I hit, but look, if I hit
So you
send
print it based on
here,
the user ID, right?
it goes to both screens,
That's just because of the way the code.
because of the way the code is written.
The code just says print to both, but then, yeah, you can actually print to each one
But
based on
really,
the
if you wrote the
user
code,
ID.
if you did the code, you said, okay, after you hit submit, the submit goes away. I'm thinking that wouldn't go away, because this is a,
Well,
this is a
if
different,
if
this is a different,
submit click true, get rid of it,
but that wouldn't happen over here because
it's not true,
it's a different instance.
it's not true.
It's a different instance of the page. So maybe I'm just overthinking it.
That's right, it is a different instance, I think you're right.
Yeah. I think that's why it seems to be like, oh, the code doesn't look like it's working, but
So I'm gonna send
Well, I think there's a certain thing it does by default, but but you have to do two different ways of doing it.
you just take the player number and then you just determine if it's the current turn. If it's the current turn and player number.
Well, you have to go through that list of whatever, say, print both of these IDs, right? So if you only print one, it's only gonna go.
And if you do a conditional statement that says like if it's the player num, then show this. And if it's not your player number,
Yeah, I just wasn't
For
thinking.
the presence,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, for the presence. So if it's not this presence,
Yeah.
don't do this, do this if it's this presence.
Mhm.
So then you can keep track of player, opponent, or whatever.
Right.
And then kind of.
So you do like an if else.
yeah.
Else.
Oh yeah, so you can search on the
presence
presence.
on each one.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So you can have two separate pages with with different things in each one by just searching which presence you wanna print to, and then you print to that one a certain way, whichever way you want.
Right, okay. So then you can store that, the presence information for you.
Firebase, yeah. That's already in your Firebase.
What I have found,
It's already there.
assigned
It's already there. It's already there, okay.
what I found really helpful is to console log like the same thing in each function going down the line to see where things are actually either registering, firing. I mean, I think half my code was console log.
So did you whip this up before class this morning?
Oh, God.
So you think just still do it one day?
Yeah. You guys got this.
Alright.
Yeah.
You guys got this.
I just want to love the section by tomorrow. I don't want to be ready for Monday too.
I feel a
Yeah,
little bit.
but you guys will have time, like in class, to work on this stuff. Like that's what we're gonna be
Yeah,
doing for the
that's
next 2 weeks.
Leaving
like-
town is not helpful.
Yeah. Are you leaving town?
Yeah.
Why are you doing that? Don't do it.
Freaking 10-year anniversary.
For what?
Me and my guy.
Oh.
He planned this before I joined boot camp.
Oh. Tell him to stop.
Yeah, I told him we could have a 10-year anniversary next year.
Okay.